Am I the asshole for refusing to give up my vacation days so my coworker can go on her honeymoon? I work at a small company where vacation time is pretty limited, and we have to request it months in advance. I put in my request almost a year ago to take a 2-week vacation during the holidays. My plan was to visit family who live out of the country, something I only get to do once every few years. Recently, a coworker of mine who's getting married came up to me and asked if I'd be willing to give up my vacation days so she could go on her honeymoon. She apparently didn't realize how quickly the days would fill up and waited too long to request her time off. Now, the only way she can go is if someone cancels, and since I have one of the longest vacation blocks, she came to me first. I told her I was really sorry, but I can't give up my time. This trip means a lot to me, and it's the only time I can see my family this year. She wasn't happy and told me I was being selfish for not accommodating her once-in-a-lifetime event. Now, a few other coworkers are chiming in, suggesting I could be more flexible since I don't have special circumstances like a wedding. I feel bad, but I also planned this trip far in advance, and it's important to me. Am I the asshole for not giving up my vacation so she can go on her honeymoon? Update. 8 days later. Wow, I didn't expect my post to blow up like this, and I honestly can't thank you all enough for the support. I've been reading through all the comments, and it's clear that a lot of you feel as strongly as I do about keeping my vacation. So, after my last post, things got interesting at work. A few days after I turned down my coworker's request, she sent a long email to me and CC'd our entire team, basically calling me out for ruining her wedding plans and labeling me as unsupportive of a once-in-a-lifetime event. Yeah, it was a lot. I was caught off guard, but I kept it professional, responded directly to her, and explained again why my trip was non-negotiable for me. I thought that would be the end of it, but then our boss called me in for a meeting. It turns out my coworker had tried to go over my head and get my vacation days reallocated to her. Thankfully, my boss was super understanding and confirmed that because I booked my time first, it's mine to keep. However, things got awkward when he asked if I would consider a compromise, like offering her a week of my time and keeping one for myself. I stood firm, telling him that this trip is one of the few chances I have to see my family, and I need the full 2 weeks. Since then, my coworker has been giving me the cold shoulder, and a couple of other coworkers have been dropping passive-aggressive comments. One even said, "You'll probably be that person who refuses to switch shifts with a parent during the holidays." Ouch. But here's the kicker. Another coworker came up to me and confided that they had been pressured to switch vacation days with the same person in the past, and they regretted doing it because it messed up their own plans. So now, I'm glad I stood my ground. I'm not sure what the long-term fallout of this will be, but one thing is for sure. I'm not giving up my vacation. I need this time with my family more than ever, and I refuse to feel guilty for prioritizing that. Also, thank you to everyone who reassured me that standing my ground wasn't selfish. It's easy to second-guess yourself when the pressure mounts, but the overwhelming support here has made it clear that I'm not in the wrong. Next story, I hired my daughter's ex as an intern. Am I the asshole? When my 57M daughter, 21F, was in high school, she started dating a guy, 22M, who at first glance made me a little nervous. He had that stereotypical popular jock look, the type you might expect to be a player or not take relationships seriously. As a dad, I naturally wanted to protect my daughter, but I was completely wrong about him. Despite his outward appearance, he turned out to be a genuinely kind and respectful young man. He was polite, always using "yes, sir" and "no, ma'am," and he had this boyish, goofy charm that everyone found endearing. He treated my daughter well, was always respectful of our family, and had a sweet personality. While he wasn't the strongest academically, he worked hard and always gave his best. I even helped him out with his homework a few times because I could see how much effort he was putting into it. I'll admit I really liked the kid, and so did the rest of the family. My wife, my son, and even my daughter's mother, my ex-wife, really liked him too. He was a good boyfriend to my daughter, and I felt comfortable knowing she was with someone who cared about her. Eventually, they broke up when they were about 16 or 15. It wasn't a messy breakup. From what I understood, it was mutual. My daughter was understandably sad, and we did everything we could to support her through it. But she actually moved on pretty quickly, and we all kind of left it in the past. Fast forward a few months ago, I got a LinkedIn request from him and it brought a smile to my face. It was nice to see what he was up to, especially since he struggled a lot in school. It turns out he's now studying marketing at a really good university in our country. I was genuinely happy for him because it seemed like he found his niche and I could see he was doing well. Then I saw that he was looking for an internship. He needed to complete 500 hours of professional experience to graduate, and I didn't hesitate to reach out. I told him that if he needed company, mine would always have a spot for him. We ended up catching up and he told me about his new girlfriend, so he's moved on. Long story short, he ended up sending me some excellent recommendations from his professors, so I offered him a position in our PR and communications department as a social media intern. He's been an amazing addition to the team. He's come up with great ideas, worked hard, and you can tell he genuinely loves what he's doing. Seeing him all grown up after knowing how much he struggled back in the day has been really heartwarming. But here's the problem. My daughter recently found out about it through TikTok. Of all places, he appears in some of the company's videos, and she was mad. She called me a terrible father and said it was inappropriate for me to hire him. Now, it's not like she ever has to see him. She's studying abroad in Belgium, and we live in a Latin American country, so they won't even cross paths. My wife, my son, and my ex-wife have reassured me that I didn't do anything wrong. From my perspective, I hired him purely based on his qualifications and work ethic. He's a temporary intern who plans to continue his studies abroad once he graduates, so this isn't a long-term situation. But my daughter's reaction has made me second-guess myself. I've always prioritized her well-being and want to make sure I'm not overlooking something. Maybe I'm too detached because when I was younger, I stayed on good terms with some of my ex's families, and I didn't see it as a big deal. I really care about my daughter, and I don't want her to feel like I'm prioritizing someone else over her. But at the same time, I want to be fair and give credit where it's due, especially when someone is working hard and making something of themselves. I would really like to hear any outside perspectives. Update. I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. I really appreciated the advice and different perspectives that helped me think through the situation. A lot of you suggested that I have an honest conversation with my daughter to see if there was something deeper going on, and I took that advice. I ended up calling her to talk things through. I asked her if there was something about the breakup that I didn't know about, or if something happened that would make her uncomfortable with him working for me. I told her that she can be completely honest with me, because I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. And if there was a valid reason, I was open to addressing it. Turns out, the situation was a lot less complicated than I thought. My daughter admitted that there wasn't any lingering issue between her and her ex. In fact, she reiterated what I already knew, that the breakup was mutual and drama-free. What came out during the conversation was something completely different. Apparently, she's been dating a new guy from the United States for about 2 weeks. She said that when she saw her ex in the company's TikTok videos, it made her nervous because she didn't want things to get weird with the new guy if he found out that her dad was still in contact with her ex-boyfriend. She said that Americans are different in that sense. Those were her words. You guys tell me if it's true. Ha ha ha. Basically, she was worried that her new relationship could be affected if the guy she is seeing thought there was still some kind of connection between her and her ex through me. But when I pressed her about whether her ex had done anything wrong, or if there was any actual issue that would justify me not hiring him, she admitted there wasn't. Her main concern was her new relationship and how it might look. I get that she's navigating a new relationship, but to expect me to turn down a great intern who's been nothing but hardworking because she's worried about optics with a guy she's been seeing for 2 weeks seems pretty unreasonable. I don't think it's fair to penalize him or limit his opportunities just because of that. I explained all of this to her as gently as I could, and she admitted that she might have overreacted. I reassured her that this internship was a temporary situation and that she would likely never even have to interact with him, especially with her living abroad. I also apologized for not asking her first about her thoughts on me hiring him. I thought it really didn't matter, since, from my point of view, I was just hiring a great professional based on qualifications and work ethics, but comments made me see how I could have been the asshole for not telling her. And she told me that it's okay.